Washington, D.C., 1971. A city bracing against racial tension, political unrest, and a shadow that crept in silently and never left. 6 young black girls abducted, murdered, and discarded near the freeways. The press called him the Freeway Phantom, but to the families, it was something far worse. A ghost that took and never paid. Half a century later, we still have no name, no face, no justice. April 25th, 1971. 13-year-old Carol Denise Spinks disappears after walking to a nearby 7-Eleven. 6 days later, her body is found beside I-295, sexually assaulted and strangled. Only weeks later, 16-year-old Darlenia Johnson vanishes. Then Brenda Crockett. Then Nina Moshe Yates. Then Brenda Woodard. And finally, Diane Denise Williams, only 17. 6 girls, ages 10 to 18, all black. All from D.C., each one abducted, murdered, and dumped along a freeway. The killer had a pattern. Abduct the girls near bus stops or local stores. Assault them, strangle them, then leave their bodies within miles of major roadways. Brenda Crockett's case stood out. She managed to call her home during her abduction. Twice. Managed to call her home during her abduction. Twice. She whispered, "A white man picked me up," then added, "I'll be home soon." But she never returned. Oddly, one victim, Brenda Woodard, had a note in her coat pocket, written in a disturbingly articulate tone. It ended with, "This is tantamount to my insensitivity to pecan." The note was signed to be people, especially women. "I will admit the others when you catch me if you can." The note was signed Freeway Phantom. It was the only direct communication from the killer. The Metropolitan Police Department formed a task force, including FBI and local officers. But soon missteps surfaced. Key evidence was mishandled. Timelines weren't cross-checked. Potential witnesses were ignored. Worst of all, files began to vanish. Entire case folders gone. The original task force disbanded without answers. To this day, some physical evidence is missing. Leads were never followed up. Some believe the case was deprioritized because of who the victims were. Young black girls from working-class neighborhoods. As the years passed, their names faded from headlines. But the families never stopped asking why. Over time, several suspects emerged. One was Robert Askins, a former St. Elizabeth's Hospital patient with a violent history and a hatred of women. He was linked to prior killings. He had the education to write the Freeway Phantom note, but nothing could definitively tie him to the crimes. No DNA, no confession. No DNA, no confession. No hard evidence. Another theory. A local gang known as the Green Vega Rapists, active during the same period. They abducted and assaulted women using a green Chevrolet Vega. But again, no direct proof linked them to the murders. The killer had vanished, like vapor on the freeway. Today, more than 50 years later, the case remains unsolved. Cold case units occasionally reopen it, but the trail is frozen. Advances in DNA forensics offer hope, but with no surviving evidence, the breakthrough may never come. What remains are grieving families and a city that still carries the scars. The Freeway Phantom didn't just take 6 lives. They stole peace from an entire community. Injustice doesn't always come with a name. Sometimes it's a shadow that never lifts. The Freeway Phantom case is more than just an unsolved mystery. It's a haunting reminder of what happens when victims are forgotten, when systems fail, and when justice sleeps. If their names vanish from memory, so does any hope of justice. Carol, Darlenia, Brenda, Nina Moshe, Brenda, Diane. Say their names, share their story, and maybe, just maybe, one day the silence will break. If this story moved you, don't let it stay buried. Subscribe to True Crime Stories for more cases where the truth still waits in the dark.